Hello, my friends, and welcome back. When someone gets uh, opposite or contradictory uh, news about a certain event or a certain situation, that person should become skeptical of the validity, reality of the news coming from whatever source it comes from. So become you start mistrusting the source and the news. Now if the source has a pattern of being deceiving or lying, or then your skepticism of the validity of the news coming from that source should increase. So let's say you are in your room and uh, the I don't know, the weather person, it tells you that outside is raining right now. And you say, oh, well, okay. And you look outside, it's not raining. And then you read that someone else, the weather guy, is telling you that it's snowing outside. And you see, you look outside, it's not snowing either. So you go outside, you walk outside, no snow, no rain. But you know it's clear sky. So what should you believe? Should you believe the weather lady? Should you believe the weather guy? Or should you believe the person who actually experiences this? Obviously, you believe yourself in this case. So I hear, and we hear, all kind of news that are contradictory, coming from various sources regarding the Ukraine war. The Russians are winning, the Russians are losing, the Ukrainians are winning, the Ukrainians are losing, the Ukrainians have a lot of weapons, they run out of weapons, and it's all like a mishmash like this. And mostly you hear that the Ukrainians are winning and the Russians are losing, but somehow the Ukrainians always need more and more and more, because if they lose the war they're winning, then it's on you, on all of us, and the Russians will come and conquer the rest of us. It's going to be your turn, your turn, and your turn, or your turn after Ukraine's turns. But yeah, but if you're winning, how in the hell is going to be my turn? Well, that's a paradox. You got to figure it out. So therefore, people say certain things, and then you have to wait a little bit and figure things out. So I'm beginning to see even the sources who were telling me 100% of the time that Ukraine is winning. Even those sources now, you start seeing doubts. They dare to utter doubt. How they do that? You hear, for instance, Boris Johnson saying that actually Ukraine might lose the war. Something like before it was not like that. We're beating Putin. Then you hear the Germans pedaling back on their, well, maybe we should think about our uh, national interest first, security interests, and then about supplying Ukraine with weapons and anything they need. Then you hear all kind of people saying, "Well, we said we're gonna stand you all this, but hold on a little bit, wait." We hear Switzerland, who was unbelievably supportive of Ukraine from its neutral state that usually had. Now they don't want to provide the German uh, war machine with ammunition that is made in Switzerland. So there, it seems like this kind of news start trickling, through the big wall of this guy is winning and Ukraine is winning. They try to back off a little bit. Great Britain tries to wrestles with a definition of fossil fuels now, when Zelensky urges UK to stop right now getting any fossil fuel from Russia because you're bad dudes if you don't do that. So shaming tactics. Now it's Austria's turn. Austria was again showed its non-existent muscle actually, because well, let's move this way. So and then as you know, the Austrian chancellor went and visited that evil guy Putin a few days ago. And he came back and he said that Putin is actually, you can't talk with Putin. Putin is in own world and is no use to talk like the Italian Prime Minister Draghi, Mario Draghi said, it's useless to talk with Putin. Putin is convinced he's winning and he's just like, whatever. Well, now look, Austria. Austria is trying to, opa, wait a second, things are real here. Now all that chest pounding and morality and all that indignation, yeah, it goes to a certain extent, but then we pay for that. Pay our population, our interest is going to be hurt. So it's from Fox News, this one, by Peter Aitken, April 24th, 2022, and this is its title. Austria announces opposition to EU membership for Ukraine, weeks after Putin meeting. So the chancellor met Putin, and now he's just saying that I oppose Ukraine's membership to EU. And I heard now that some other countries say, well, I really cannot be part of, be a member of EU and NATO as well. Things that before it was like, no, quickly submit your NATO membership request. We're going to just put it on the fast track in negative 20 hours. We will approve it and you're going to be a member, NATO member, and Russia will just have a heart attack and they all die and you're going to win the war without doing anything just by applying and being admitted. So it seems like everybody's like, oh, maybe it's not a good idea. Maybe we can do this, maybe. But if you're winning, why would you make these concessions? After all these people died, both sides, all sides, after so much destruction, all of a sudden you pedal back? So let's see what this Austria wants to do. Austria, very important country. So Austria's foreign minister does not believe Ukraine should obtain European Union membership. He either gets fired or it's really what the government says here. Foreign Minister Alexander Schallenberg spoke on the 14th European Media Summit this week, saying that Ukraine should not receive candidate status in June. So they apply, but in June they should not receive it. He reiterated Austria's decision to neutrality as a key element of nation's self-definition. Okay, yeah. We don't belong to any military alliance and we don't want to, he said. But he highlighted the contributions Austria has made to Ukraine's defense, adding that EU membership and neutrality are compatible. He repeated his stance to Austrian publication Heute, but went further and said Ukraine should not, in principle, become a member even in the future. He called for a different way for Ukraine to develop ties with Europe. Oh yeah. His comments follow a meeting between Austrian Chancellor Karl Nehammer and Russian President Vladimir Putin on 11 of April, during which the two leaders held direct, open, and tough talks, according to German outlet Deutsche Welle. The German Chancellor raised the issue of war crimes in Bucha, and said he came away from the talks with an optimistic impression that what? What was the impression? We didn't do it or what? It says here that Ukraine's foreign minister expressed disappointment with Austria's stance, calling the Austrians' official statement short-sighted and not in the interest of the United Europe. I'm waiting for Austria to be blamed for the Auschwitz, for some Third Reich actions. I'm waiting to see that connection, if they didn't do it yet. Such statements also ignore the fact that the vast majority of the population of the EU found member states support Ukraine's membership, said Ukraine Foreign Affairs Ministry spokesperson Oleg Nikolenko. Yes, probably at the heat of the night, but when they're gonna pay more for everything, you're not gonna see that support still standing, my boy. All right, adding that postponing Ukraine's membership means indulging Putin's aggressive plans. You see, shaming methods. If you don't do what I say, if you don't give me your money, if you don't give me your wife, you don't give me your wealth or whatever, you're bad dude. You're with Satan, right there, Satan, because I'm God. or part of it. But around 40% of Austrians consider the government's position on Ukraine as on the whole correct, while 23 believe the government is too pro-Ukraine and 17% pro-Russia, according to Hoyte. Well, I don't know when this poll was held in Austria, because it matters, as I said, the timing, the persons, the questions, and longitudinal, vertical, whatever you're going to ask, how you're going to ask the questions, and so on. So nevertheless, the point to take out of this is this: Austria opposes, in principle, the membership of Ukraine. Ukraine does what? Not Ukraine. I should not say Ukraine. The leaders of Ukraine, the ones in charge. No, the ones pushed in front of us to appear that are in charge. That this is a better thing. They what are the leaders? How do you want to call them? I don't go with semantics anymore. What the hell? And they tell us that if you don't do that, they start shaming you. Now that's a very poor and nasty tactic. Now it's shaming because you're weak, and then is blackmail and threats if you're strong. You know what I mean? The big boss is threats and blackmail. Weak ones are shaming tactics. There you have it. You want to be friends with this kind of people or those kind of people? I don't. I don't want to be friends and be member with these people who shame me the minute I disagree with what they want me to do. I don't. And if I have my own course, I am called names, or I'm threatened or blackmailed. I don't want those kind of friends. If you do, that is your choice. But you're going to get smacked later, because it can't go well if this is the relationship. Blackmail and threats, shaming. That's not a healthy relationship. How good is what's the end of it? It's gonna be a very ugly divorce eventually. So you better not start it. Better to have a shitty ending than to have an endless shit. Put it this way. Thank you for being with me again today. Stay strong, stay smart, look for the truth, and be just.